Okay, and we are live. So, I got the rest of the afternoon free, and I didn't have anything planned, so I figured I'd do an amateur radio project. Right now on screen I have FT8 up, and actually there is a rare prefix currently on air, which I kind of want to work, but I've been trying it for most of the day, and I haven't had much success. But let me give a little prefix, because I know people are going to watch this on the VOD. I've been doing a little listening on 14105, which is the network 105 frequency where packet radio lives in amateur radio space. By most accounts, packet radio is largely dead. It's just not really used all that much. Here in Europe, like there are some in the United States, but I've never had any success in ever connecting to any. The only packet BBS I ever saw in the States was a Aries node run in the New York metro area. I have that distinct feeling I'm not going to have any luck trying to work this. Like, if I can get the Vienna... This is actually an ITU, the ITU itself in Vienna. I'm actually surprised they're on air. But I think the plan here is... Let me pull up the log. So, I just basically put the radio... Come on, work with me. So, I basically put the radio and just told it to listen. So, we go into Direwolf, we go into logs. Is it here in the top level directory? Yeah, it's here in the top level directory. So, let me open up the log file, and I'll show you what I actually heard. Okay, that's less than useful. Let me do that. I was listening, so basically I was listening to, no, I've never tried the Z version of it. I was listening to Network 105, lower sideband, and I heard India Whiskey 2 Oscar Hilo X-Ray, actually broadcasting a packet radio node. I know on FT8 and on CW, I can basically hit anywhere in Europe. Packet radio, I'm suspecting there are nodes in Germany, but I'm not hearing them, which makes me suspect that because packet radio has to basically be an all or nothing. Like, I think the first step I want to do is I'm going to throw Direwolf back up, and let's see if this node is actually still running. Let's see here, run Direwolf. I'm assuming, yeah, you're configured to that. So let me put it on the HF config. And then let me grab FL Ray. Okay, why do you say no log exa? Oh, right, because I changed the user on this. I actually need to change the user back because this is my US call sign. But that's fine. Okay, apparently I just completely suck at writing launch files. So, from what I can tell, there is actually a fair bit of packet traffic in Europe. So, let's tune to 105. I need to go... Actually, I need to shut this down because it might broadcast out of the band. And that would be bad. So, let's change the rig frequency to 10... Now, I'm going to have to figure out how to switch this. Either I have to figure out on the rig how to switch the digital mode to run on lower sideband. But just for listening, I can just use the LSB button. Unfortunately, the way my Yaesu works is it doesn't listen to the audio pickup on the rig unless it's in digital mode. So I can only decode doing this. Oh, I just heard a packet, but we didn't get a decode, which is a little concerning. So let me look at what the volume controls are and see if I can get something a little better. Like, you should be hearing stuff. Input devices. Yeah, let me just boost your volume slightly. And we'll see if we hear any beacons. In theory, I should be able to... Yeah. Over HF, I can only get about in the United States, there was a legal limit on how fast you can go that has finally died. The general max is about 5 kilobytes with proprietary modes. Vara can get that. In Europe, what seems to be the most popular is something called Robust Packet. Unfortunately, Robust Packet either requires a hardware TNC, or I have to use a program called WinRPR, which hasn't been updated in a long time. It does seem like it works, but Robust Packet's a very weird and strange thing. So we're going to let that listen, and while we do that, we're going to send up what's called linbpq, or BPQ. So I need to grab the installation guide. I might have to build it from source. Yeah, so here's the installation guides over here, and I was poking at this earlier. The link in the document's actually broken. I think I have to remove the top level one. And then they have a build for Raspberry Pi. Let me see if it's actually here. They've got Pi. Let's see, your previous installer. Like, they have a beta folder. Kind of tempted just to build it from source if I can. So the most recent build, I'm assuming that's the most recent build. Lim BBQ. Because like I said, you see a bunch of guides for doing it, but it's finding anything on amateur radio stuff tends to be like really hard to find anything definitively. Like I see a GitHub repo here. Actually, yeah, this is the this is by the author. It's by G8BBQ. So this is he apparently just puts a copy of the source code here, but it's not the actual thing. Propagation at this time of day is actually pretty decent from what I've seen. When I was listening on FT8, I was hearing as far as Finland, Russia, and Vienna. I was actually hearing the ITU on band. I tried to work them several times, but I had no luck. So let me grab like latest source code. Let's see if that helps. I'm hoping I can copy and paste into this. I should be able to. Okay, so let me go into source directory. And my microphone cable is... yeah. I am going to have to, you know, linBBQ. Because part of this will also let my node run as a BBS. I think I'm probably going to have to do SEP robust packet. Yeah. Oh, wow. It actually, well, you know, it actually didn't explode into this folder. So how do I actually build this? Is there a makefile? Like, please tell me there's a makefile. Okay, there is a makefile. There is a makefile, but it don't build. It needs something called mini... Is that something... Is that a system library? Okay, apparently it is a system library. I should actually make this bigger for the stream. Because stream's 720p, because that's all my internet's willing to support right now. I'm definitely thinking of doing... I'm thinking I might do CPM as my next project, but I do actually want to do like a video on amateur radio as a whole. That one I know is libconfig def. Yeah, like I said, every time you just like have to build one of these things, it's always like this giant... it's always this giant project. Like, I actually have to check the regulations to see if robust packet and Vara are legal in Greece. I assume they are because I've seen a robust packet map node in Greece. Robust packet was never... I've never seen it in the US. In fact, I never heard of it prior. And in the US, the regulations are... Wow, this has got just like a ton of dependencies that isn't listed. All right, let me get libpcap And let's see what actually gets. Have we actually managed to hear anything yet? No, that's a little concerning. Like I said, I was hearing it pretty well yesterday. Let me make sure I'm on the right frequency. 14.104, 105.00, lower sideband. So, it is possible the node is down. Alright, so that gives us that. Yeah, so... Well, I mean, a lot of the things with amateur radio is it's really just... Alright. So do we have an example source file? No, of course we don't have an example config file. Why would we have that? That would be, like, useful. Like, this is definitely something I would want to, try more, like, this might be a very short stream, especially if there's nothing actually on air. So let me... Alright, so if I look at the instructions, create a script to run it. You need to make it executable. Yeah, I did that. You need to set some capacities on the file, so I will do that. So set capnet admin, ep capnet raw, ep catnet bind service, ep linpack. It's nice that it doesn't tell you which part it doesn't like. Alright, you know what? When in doubt, copy and paste. So, okay, so the next thing it looks like I need is the config file, but it... Yeah, it didn't ship with an example one. It has remote and chat config, but it doesn't have, like, the actual one. You're gonna make me hunt for it, aren't you? Alright, let me see if I can find a copy of this config file. They do have beta copies. Yeah, like they have... I'm assuming that's just like a compressed executable. Yeah, it is. Okay, so that means I need to find the config file for it. Let's see here. BBQ32 config example. Okay, that has an example one, but that's kind of... that's a really, like, kind of complex one. Okay, let me see here. Configuration file. Yeah, it's like they just did a pour of the software and you're still kind of assumed to have the Windows version. Alright, I'm currently trying to find... Here it is, program config. Okay, so there's a generator program for this. So let's scrap the generator program. Required file not found. Oh, right. That's a 32-bit binary. Yeah, that would have problems because I don't think I have 32-bit support enabled on this. All right, can I find a 64-bit version of this? Well, I've got the source code for it, so let me grab the source code. BBQ config. BBQ config. Oh, you need... I think this needs QMake. Or, yeah, and that made a make file. So let's see if we can actually just generate a config. Yeah, like I said, I've wanted to do more ham radio things. I've also noticed that, well, it's not to the same extent of when I was doing, like, Greek practice. Okay, well, this interface definitely has seen better days. Alright, so config directory. Let me make a directory for this. So, BBQ. And just to confirm, I am recording, right? Yeah, I am recording. Alright. Although that does beg the question, where is it recording? Because I just cleaned out my project folder. Because I was running out of disk space. When I was done with the... okay, yeah, that folder is okay. I would prefer it somewhere else, but that's fine for now. Alright, so BBQ... So node call sign is SV0TOH. I'm in KN17. I would like web management, so I'll set that. Yes, my super secret secure. So let's enable the BBS. Let's enable chat. I do need to add a port for talking to I have to add a port talking to the radio. So 1 and 4. Now network 107 has like specific rules. I am surprised I'm not hearing anything, which makes me a little concerned that propagation may be garbage today. Like I was hearing that Italian station pretty good, but if I'm not hearing anything on the band today, it kind of implies that there's nothing to hear. Which is, shall I say, unfortunate. I probably should have checked that before I did anything. Now, let me check what the Network 105 stuff says. So HF packet, because it basically, this is like the frequency they recommend for it. So 1 is personal bulletin board. 2 is gate, and 7 is for K node, NOS, NetROM, yada yada. Okay, so I can basically set all of that. So let me do save config. And then if we do that, I'm sort of wondering if I'd be able to connect if I just set up Direwolf with the kernel and then use AX Connect. Okay, so it did start a Telnet server. I don't know what port it started a Telnet server on, so let me Control-C it. And then that's closing out. And I'm assuming it's also created like a web interface, so let's see what it, oh, that generated a lot of files. So let's take a look and see what it did. So it's listening on Telnet on 8010, and there's a web server running on 8080. So, okay. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything right now, which is unfortunate. Yeah. quite possible that today is the day that my radio decided to just not work for me. Like, I heard a packet earlier, like, audibly, but it didn't decode. So... Alright, so Lynn, BBQ... Oh, right. I actually wanted to start up because I wanted to connect to the web interface. Because I'm assuming I have to define a radio port. So let's open the browser. This might be much more setting up a BBS. So HTTP 127.0.0.18080. Okay, so we now get the nodes. I can edit config if I want to. Driver window, webmail. Interesting. Yeah, because so now there's basically nothing here, but I can send messages if I so choose. Right, so now how do I define a port? Alright, so let me look at the config, because I need to set a BBQ port direwolf. And hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm back. Alright, so let me figure out how to actually connect it to a direwolf port. Because I could do this over 2 meter. I don't have the 2 meter antenna set up. Like, I'm definitely kind of very much YOLOing this. So, okay, so I see an example config here. So let me Control C this and let that shut down. We open BPQ32 config. So I'll leave the telnet server as port number 1. So let's add a new port here. Paste. And I think the only thing I need to change here is BPQ direwolf HF. That's the TNC. And I just have to put it on port number 2. Now, I do know that there is a way to basically have it beacon that it's got things working. But let's see if it can actually connect to direwolf. So it does say it's initializing port 2 TCP KISS. Now, if I look at the direwolf window, yeah, attached to application 0. So it did actually connect. So now I should. Why do I? Oh, I have 2 running. Okay. So I need to kill this one because I now have 2 of them running side by side. It's interesting how long it takes for it to shut down. So okay. We start getting this running. This is going to be a much shorter stream than I thought because I was looking at the instructions on getting this to work and it just looked immensely complicated. All right, so mail started. So telnet 127.0.0.80.10. So I am SVO. Ooh, backspace doesn't work. Can I sort of can control H. Well, that didn't work. Okay, so now I need to figure out how I get this to work. So Definitely a start. Okay, here's a guide for it. So how to install Direwolf, and so this says all the stuff on setting it up. This is all basically Direwolf, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, so I could definitely connect it via Vara or such, which, if I want to, like, do actual data nodes and talk to BQs, that's probably, like, a large part of how it would work. There is apparently a different config program, but let me see here. Let me look at the config that I generated. So RMS, let me try admin password. There we go. Connected to SVO0TOH's telnet server. So if I type question mark, I do get the commands. So if I type ports, yeah, so it does actually see the Direwolf HF system. So, ooh, interesting. I don't think that's transmitting. Although I just realized this may not be set up. Actually, I just realized this probably isn't set up to actually work for the radio. Because the only time I use this config, full duplex, yeah, this actually isn't set up to work with the radio. Let me put it with Yesu and HF because I need to copy a few lines. Yeah, you need the push to talk setting. I don't think there's anything else I actually need to add. Also, is that actually... Yeah, that is actually correct. I can use a better... Oh, I just realized that this isn't going to work properly with FLDigi running. That's a slight problem. Yeah, because I can use the by serial. So dev by ID... Where is that one? Because that one, if I plug in or move devices, it won't change, which is kind of a nice thing. By ID, yeah. So let me grab that. We'll put that in the hfconfig file. But right now, okay. So let's run direwolf config hf.conf. We see it go online. We see it, the application attached. So here's the question. Why is it when I type ports? Okay, so you said basically mail stop. Okay, I probably have to restart the BBS. Because I think... No, okay. Try telnetting again. Admin password. So ports. Because you can theoretically route packets through multiple nodes. So as long as I can hear one other one, I should be able to go further out. Okay, so application has gone away. I'm going to restart this. Let's see if it hears the application. The fact that I'm not hearing any actual traffic, though, is slightly concerning. I'd probably have to set Direwolf up to beacon BBS. Okay, so ready to accept KISS application on 0. So... Hey, XSS Adventures. So, okay. Let me try a test. Let me see. What happens if I type connect to SVO0-1? Yeah, so it connected to my BBS. It started the application. It didn't send anything else out on radio. Um, it's interesting that... Okay, so these are basically all the commands that you can send to basically do home BBS and such. Like I can do list files, which I don't think there's... Yeah, there's none on this node. So, right. So I think I type bye and I disconnect. Yeah, so I'm now back in the top level. So let me try doing something like connect. And like I said, I did... See, I'm not sure if it's actually transmitting that. It's interesting that it seems to be doing that. I mean, I could use AX call. There's nothing stopping me from actually doing it. I think what I should probably have done, like, you know, this is a hindsight 2020 thing. I should have gone the Chromebook out and put the Baofeng on it so I could connect to my own BBS locally. I can't... it would take me... I'd have to go find where all the little bits are. But that's fine. The fact that I'm not hearing anything... Like, I was hearing that station earlier, like, no problems. So I guess I could just send a connect and see if it, like, picks up anything. I'm not really optimistic that that's going to work, but, you know, it's kind of how... can see here, 2025, 0516 log. So let me try and connect. Let me just try doing a connect here and just see if the radio actually like keys up, because if it does key up, at least something worked. So it needs a, so we go ports. God, it's weird that the backspace does not work the way to connect. Yeah, okay. Let me go see if the radio is actually keying up. Okay, so the answer is yes, the radio's keying up, but it's on the wrong frequency. Can I tell to... How do I tell you to stop? Yeah, okay, so... Yeah, see, it didn't actually listen to the rig control command. It was on the FT8 frequency by accident. Let's move it back to this one, but I actually need to flip the sidebands. Let me see here. Network 105 USB, because either I have to go into the radio settings and switching it the other way. I could also try 10 meters. Maybe 10 meters would work a little bit better. Because the way, as far as I understand it, I would have to actually change the config to basically... network 195 USB mark tone. Let's see here. Okay, so if I want to run it on upper sideband, because I'd rather not change the radio if I don't have to, because that means I'd have to go back and change it every other time I want to do something else. So according to the Network 105 page, let's see here. So 103.2, mark space frequency, 105. Yeah, see, look there, I actually did hear the node that time. So yeah, the rig was in the wrong position. I may have to just like pull up the Yaesu manual. FT58 manual. Let me figure out how I switch. Before I figure out how to switch it to upper side, to basically run upper sideband, I think I'm just going to switch to dig mode. The problem is I can't do that through rig control. I have to do it on the rig. Yeah, I think I have to offset it. I want to make sure there's multiple ways this can go wrong. So I've got the I got my rig manual right here. So let me see digital mode. Digital mode. So it's page 63. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. So FM transmission with arts. That's not what I care about. Here we go. Provides extensive digital mode on HF, VHF, and UHF bands. Before doing digital mode, you must do RIDI or... So I think I have to set it to user... Yeah, because when you do it with FT8, I think I just have to set it to user L. God, it's interesting. This manual's been updated because this mentions WSJT, which wasn't a thing when I bought my radio. And you can also configure the transceiver's passband response. So, yeah, it actually... So, menu item... Yeah, so I think it has to be on user L. Let me go switch the rig settings. Okay, so the rig is now... I've now got the rig configured to run lower sideband. So if I pull up FL rig, I switch you to digital. So I am curious if I'd be able to connect to this. This one says it looks like it's a robust packet node, but I've seen the other beacon messages. I kind of want to wait to see if I hear more before I try actually connecting. One of the golden rules of amateur radio: listen before you transmit. And this is something a lot of people need to learn. Like I said, I would like to figure out how I could operate with the rig in upper sideband mode, because it means if I ever want to switch... Because I might just leave this up as a BBS. I would have to basically just create APRS packets, but I should be able to hear... I mean, I'm already hearing it. Let me try sending a new connect command. So connect to I20H2X1. And that sent a session start command. Oh, I did get a response. That's UA. That's user. Okay, so I am actually hearing that system. Yeah, I'm connected. Oh, that is cool. We are actually connected to the other rig. 15 looks like it's a robust packet node. Yeah, look, I'm actually hearing another station, UT. I don't actually... Yeah, I'm hearing a digipeater, actually. I definitely don't have a great connection to it, because look how many times it's trying to retransmit. Like, it did do the initial connect. It's possible that the baseband audio is not ideal. Like, I'm surprised... UT1, where is that station? That is actually a Ukrainian station. Oh, isn't that the guy that made the there's a piece of software that's basically a soft modem? Yeah, it's trying to negotiate the session. I don't think it's succeeding. Because it started it, and now it's trying to send a command, and then is kind of failing. I believe RR is reply requested. Yeah, and see, that time it actually got it. It may also be talking with a different node that I can't hear. So let me try typing BBS, and let me see if that connects to the BBS. So that's transmission BBS, and then I send an RR. And then I just got a response, and then it's requesting. I think R is request resend, now that I'm thinking about it. So it is trying to talk. Assuming I'm not actually getting anything. Like, I'm definitely hearing their beacon wide and clear. It's just, I don't know if my packets are actually going out all that well. I might have to go listen to it elsewhere and see if I'm even... Like, I was trying to use slow scan television as a mode earlier, and I was not having a lot of luck. Like, this rig, it's fine on VHF, but I've never successfully done anything but narrow bands on this rig. But you know, now that I have literally just said that, let me see here. Did shift configured the transceiver's passband response. So the question is, maybe the passband response is defines the center offset frequency for default of 0. Carrier frequency offset. See, I feel like that should be 0 for packet. Menu mode, user programmed custom operations, PSK31, AFSK ready, user program custom operation on LSB, USB. Yeah, I feel like 0 is actually how I want that to be set, but it's definitely not able to talk to it. The .6 in the RF modulation. Yeah, I may be off frequency. Hold on. Let me look at the Network 105 stuff, because I have never tried to work HF packet before. I would like that to stop. You know what? I'm just going to Control-C it, because it's obviously not getting anywhere. Okay. Yep, that stopped it. So Network 105. Mark and space frequency is, if you're using tones, it's 1600, 1800. Mark space, so we should be in the right place in the frequency band. Unfortunately, I don't have an SDR like set up and ready to go to like actually do that. Radio dial, independent for conformity, but we all use LSB, blah, 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 blah. So 1 is PBSS mailbox, 2 is gate. Let me check my parameters in BBQ, because it might not be setting the... What is it setting the keying to? So persist... What it's recommending is packet length of 60. So Let's try packet length of 60. Max frames of 1. Says deweight. I think I need to change my slot time. Like, I remember having this problem before. And actually, I want Digipeat off. Digipeat would be if I'm doing VHF to HF in this particular case, from port in, port out. There are cases where you do want to do that even on HF, but they're pretty few and far between. Channel A, no keep alives, persist value. Like, I am debating. I'm going to the Hamfest in Athens this Saturday, I think. So have we actually heard anything else since I tried to poke this thing? Yeah, it's interesting that I'm hearing this generic Digipeater, and then it's coming back to me, and it's now trying to say RR, which means, I'm almost certain means request resend. So let's go admin password, and then let's send an error connect attempt now that I've adjusted the settings. So it sends the SABM command, and it requests retransmit. I suspect that what I'm seeing here is similar to why I can't seem to get a slow scan television signal out. Like, I'm not using a compromised antenna. I've got a full-size vertical. No loading coil. It's at full length. Let me go turn up the rig volume so I can see if I can hear it. Alright, I've got the rig volume clamped basically as high as it will go. So, I think... Let me disconnect from this. And let me look at the config. I think part of it is it's trying to retransmit too quickly. Because what I'm hearing is I hear it key up, it immediately kicks back, and then it keys up again and again and again and again. So... let me see what it is. Let me look at this a little bit more closely. So persist slot time. Yeah, see, like I just heard a packet right then. So slot time I don't think would matter. TX delay probably doesn't need to be that high, actually. It probably can be like 30. TX tail 30. Quality factor, minimum frame, level 2 timeout, digiport, end port. Okay, so let's fire that back up. Yeah, I'm definitely hearing packets, like I'm audibly hearing them. Although it's definitely not decoding them. So let me try saying an error connect command, because I suspect the problem is actually on my end. All right, so it's sent to transmit. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Control C, Control C, Control C. Because, yeah, it's saying that this is an extreme valuable. See radio channel timing. Why do I feel like I'm just kind of going down a rabbit hole? So I think I gotta look at the Direwolf manual. I've never played with low raw. Like, I'm kind of tempted to get like a low raw node and play with it, but it also it seems both very cool and very limited at the same time. Like, from what I can tell, it really just kind of looks like. All right, let me pull up the Direwolf manual GitHub, because I'm going to have to figure out what I'm doing wrong here. All right, here we go. User guide for Direwolf. Timing. So it says use a TX delay of 30, TX 10. Slot time. I might be on the same slot time, which may be part of the problem. If it's basically using the default. So delay in milliseconds. Because this was complaining that TX delay 3. Because I think this is using different units. So let me try setting this to 300 and 300. And then let me change my slot time to 10. So that would put me first in the order. Do you have an option here for like full duplex, half duplex? I probably can just set this to 100 because it really should. This radio switches modes very fast. It's not like a Baofeng. Okay, so now we're set. Can we... Okay, that time it got a response. Okay, so it says that that was an extreme slot time. So I think that was the session starting. Yeah, so I got to connect. So if I type BBS... it sends the RR. I suspect I'm just not getting out very well. Or, hold on. Oh, or I'm overdriving the signal. That would do it. Yeah, go lower, go way lower. You should not be clipping. I'm not sure why that is clipping no matter what I do. Yeah, if I'm splashing the signal, that would definitely cause problems, though. Okay, so now that one's not going all the way up the bar. So I think it needs to be a little louder. It does sound like it's hearing something. Yeah, I think I'm splashing the radio. I think I'm splashing. That's why it's not... I can hear it in the other room. I hear what definitely sounds like a packet coming in. I might actually have to go to the radio and see how badly it's actually if the ACL is kicking on. All right, let me send a buy command. Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's a way to actually stop it from just connecting or disconnecting. Program has gone away. I want to see. I won't wait until I hear the next beacon because now I'm interested to see what the actual problem is. Okay, so that was okay, so I think part of the problem was that the input level was also too low. Yeah, see, now that's decoding actually a lot better than what it was before. So let me fire... Let's try it again. Oh, you're right. It does actually have that option. Let me go do that. I'll be right back. Nope, that's basically the ACL gauge is off the top of the rig. I definitely need a better way to do this than running to and from the radio, which is in the other room. I mean, it's in the room, but all right. So output devices, you need to go way down. So let me try like there. Let me send a tone. Actually, I should probably move off this frequency. All right, screw it. I'm just going to leave it here, and let's just see if it's better. Yeah, see, now I'm decoding a lot better. So apparently it's talking to PDR 12. So let's restart BPQ. I am tempted to see if we can actually hit that node, assuming there's something there to talk to. So admin password connect to I2 OHA1. Oh, you know what? The other thing I noticed on the rig is it wasn't in. It was in LSB mode. It needs to be in Dig mode. It's interesting how it basically just... All right, I think I gotta look at the user guide because I think there's definitely more tuning parameters. But before I do that, let me Control-C this. I just remember that basically when I send a tuning signal, yeah, it shows the levels as it's going out. So output device, if I increase this... That turns off. Kind of want to look at the user manual. I might be Control-Z to make it cancel on a hang-up. Let me see here. What's chat saying here? Oh, frac might need to be higher. Let me... I just heard a very large and long packet, and it definitely didn't decode. So maybe you need to be a bit lower. So BPQ manual... Alright, so... Oh, you gotta love websites where the SSL certificate is completely kaput. Alright, let's... Yeah, like, I'm hearing packet data. But it may be robust packet data, because it doesn't sound right to me. Alright, so hold on. Retries, let's just set it to like 10. Level 2 timeout in milliseconds. Like, wouldn't that be like... Let's set it to 5. Let's see if that makes a difference. I think I also need to adjust the slot time. Alright, slot time. Set you to 100. So we're definitely hearing stuff. Yeah, I mean, I could be hearing a packet from basically anywhere in Europe. It's just not close enough to decode. So, okay. So, admin. But I don't like how it spams the connection like that. So let's try setting a connect now. No warnings that time. And it's definitely waiting a lot longer between packets. So it sent 5 and it... Okay, so that time it returned failure, which is actually a good thing. So the question is it not going out loud enough or is it not coming in loud enough? See, I actually heard a packet coming in right as I did that. Yeah, because I can hear the rig turning on and off. I might have to wait until I hear the packet note again, because it's possible I lost the good enough propagation. Hmm. I'm gonna wait for this. I'm gonna wait until I hear that beacon again. I'm actually gonna go use the. I'm gonna go step away from the keyboard for a moment. Let's see if we hear that beacon again, and then I'm gonna also do some more experiments with sending stuff over packet radio. Because maybe it's that station that doesn't hear me. Alright, I'm back at my desk. I hear on the I was listening to the radio in the other room. I think I'm hearing VARA traffic at the moment, but we're definitely not hearing any sort of beacons. I mean, I'm tempted to actually go down to. Let me see what they say on Network 105. I might have to just fire up Robust Packet and actually try it. So it recommends for APRS to listen on 104, 14.103. I'm tempted to actually see if we hear any APRS traffic, and then if maybe, yeah, why don't we go down the band? Let's see if we hear any APRS traffic. I don't know if there's any to hear. I mean, I remember a while ago, and this was months and months, I listened on a web SDR in Europe, but that was on 30 meters, not on 20. We might be waiting a while before we actually hear anything. But there are apparently stations that are sending APRS packets here, but it may also be like PSK31. It may be VARA, apparently, because that's a thing. Although this says it's VAR HF 103, like I'm looking at this station on APRS FI. This is a Chinese station, but it says it's doing it on upper sideband, so maybe I'm on the wrong sideband. I mean, my understanding was packet was traditionally on lower sideband on 20 meters. Let's see here, APRS frequencies. Yeah, I mean, this says it's APRS is on upper sideband on 147.600. Oh no, that's on 30 meters. Yeah, no, so defined frequencies for APRS 14103 HF lower sideband. But this is a list of stations in Australia, which, I mean, theoretically I could... I could theoretically put the antenna... The problem is the whip antenna, I actually have to go outside and adjust it to move it to a different frequency band. I tried it. The antenna doesn't have a marking on it for 30. What the website, because it's a JNC radio JP150, what they say is to use the loading coil for 40 and then set the antenna, extend 4 segments, and then 15 centimeters of the 5th segment. I tried that. It tuned, but I couldn't even get FT8 to work reliably with it, which was irritating, to say the least. You know, you're right. I'm not sure I've actually heard anything. Let me set it back to LSB, and let me, like, just explicitly set it on LSB, and let's see if we actually hear something. Like, right now, I'm pretty sure I'm hearing Vara or robust packet. Let me, hold on, let me see if let me find the signal identification wiki. Because I think that would be Vara I'm hearing. And I could try Vara, at least in the low speed mode. I'm not a big fan of the protocol. But, alright, hold on. Let me turn the music off. So signal identification, Vara. What does Vara sound like? Because that's kind of what I want to hear. Yeah, that is actually pretty close to what I'm hearing on the speaker. Let me see what robust packet sounds like. Yeah, so that's definitely Vara traffic I'm hearing. So someone's using Vara on this frequency, which isn't strictly speaking wrong. It's just not right. I mean, Vara, I'm pretty sure is supposed to be elsewhere in the band. The biggest problem with Vara is A, it's proprietary. B, it's Windows only. Like, I don't mind paying for a decent product, but the fact that it's Windows only really frustrates me. And apparently it's coded in Visual Basic 6, so even if it was open source, it's not going to get ported. So, yeah, we have heard responses, so I'm pretty sure the rig is set correctly. So I think the options I have here is I try and get robust packet working with WinRPR and Box86. Oh, someone's talking to me on Telegram about me on Telegram. Interesting. Right now I'm just trying to see if I can still hear that station beacon. Yeah, apparently Box86 can run it. Like, I've heard of ways to run Vara on a Pi. I mean, I could theoretically, like, take my Chromebook, plug it into the laptop, and then run it in Wine directly, and, like, great. But my problem is stuff like Vara, I feel like, even if it isn't strictly illegal, I feel like it goes very much against the spirit of amateur radio. It's, like, you can make the same argument again, like on D-Star, but at least D-Star is a documented protocol. The reason there's been no free and open source implementations, I think up until very recently, is that the modem 2 codec it uses was patented. But when the patent expires, the full documentation exists. So it's like, this is why I've got, it just completely drives me up a wall. And robust packet is exactly the same way. there is a proprietary Windows application that can do a robust packet. I just heard a packet. There we go. Okay, so that actually did decode. So it's interesting. It says mailbox 20 packet radio 17000. So we did actually hear it. Let me put the radio back on digital. And just to confirm that we are completely present. But yeah, we did hear that station beacon. So I think when I was hearing it before, there was like 3 services running on that node. It was beaconing 1, 2, and 15. I'd be interested in trying BBS. Like, if I can get this running, I'll just let it beacon. I'll set Direwolf up to do beacons, and I'll see if anyone connects to it. So yeah, I can definitely hear this station. But I'm also hearing a lot of Vara traffic on the band, which definitely feels like it's not right. What I really should do is I should submit my Greek call sign for use on Echolink. I have KD2JRT authenticated for Echo, but I could set up Echolink and then I could let people connect to it that way. So it might definitely be an interesting way to do it, because if I have it running on Echolink, anyone with just a basic license would be able to connect. They wouldn't have to be on HF, and they wouldn't have to be in Europe. Especially Eastern Europe, because I have this feeling on packet radio, Italy's about 500 miles as the crow flies from me. I would have to actually check that grid square to figure out exactly how far it is, but that's probably about 300, 400 miles. Yeah, see, this station's actually connecting to it successfully. So there is definitely a station there. He's connecting... Yeah, that's a Ukrainian station. That's definitely... Let me see what else let me see if I can find anything else about this station, because that call sign really looks familiar to me. Apparently this is... Yeah, this is talking about a session running with Vara and BPQ. I mean, and that's kind of what just drives me up a wall is, I mean, there is RDOP, which is free and open source, but from my understanding is it's basically dead. Like, I've heard it's just completely dead. Like, Vara completely ate their lunch. Because RDOP came from the WinLink people. It was never well adopted on amateur radio. And then Vara came and ate its lunch. I'm assuming RDOP probably does get used on Marine HF. Because Marine HF, it's not an amateur radio service, but they do allow packet, as I understand on it, because that's how SailMail works. So I'm assuming RDOP is actually pretty much used on Marine HF. Yeah, but all I'm hearing is Vara traffic. So the band is very much in use right now. And if I wanted to decode it, I'd have to like get Vara up and running and seeing what I could hear. Because yeah, all we're seeing here is RR. Like, let me look up the AX25 spec just to understand what I'm looking at. I'm pretty sure RR is it's either request receipt or request resend. Because I remember looking at this when I was right before I came to the Portland. Yeah, there's almost no WinLink nodes in Europe. I've looked. Apparently the closest one, like there's one in Turkey and there's one in Germany. So I'm currently looking at the AX25 specification. I just want to see if I understand what I'm actually reading here. So Receive ready is actually the command. So it first sends. I'm looking at the actual specification here. So link establishment receives an SABM frame. It then sends UA for an acknowledgement, and then it goes receive ready when it says it's ready to receive data. When there's an iframe transmit, receiving iframes, zero length information, blah, 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 blah. Package acknowledgement, non-priority frame in slot 0, reception, selective reject. Yeah, I mean, you can route TCP/IP over AX25. If I was very patient, you could actually route an internet connection over HF radio. And HF radio in good conditions, I don't think my antenna would do it because I have I only have a whip. I have no gain or vertical. But like I've successfully done APRS packets at 50 miles with a handheld. Like I've actually done that. I had to use a dipole, but I did it. HF radio with a beam, you could conceivably hit nodes across Europe. And while it would be very slow, you could do 44 net over it. So we are definitely able. Let me send some transmit packets or. Yeah, well, let's give this another try. I just heard a packet coming in. Did not decode. So yeah, that sounds like the audio levels they might be a little high, but they're definitely where they need to be. So let's try connect to I2OH2X1. That time it got a response. That time it actually got a response. So let's try going BBS. Okay, so that time it went receive ready. Did it connect? No, it didn't. UI command. No, it looks like it's updating the nodes list. I might be connecting to something that isn't. Yeah, see, look, this time I'm getting receive ready, so it's just not responding to commands. And that time it's sending. Now we're sending a receive ready. I think I'm connected to something, but it's not actually sending anything back. Which is interesting. I think Control Z. No, that doesn't hang up. Yeah, I get the sensation there's nothing there for me to actually like talk to. Let me see. Let me try mHeard. mHeard 2. So it did here. So it has heard 1 and 15. We could try sending a connect to 15. Failure to connect. This is fun. I could, yeah, you know, I could try 8. Oh, something came back. I actually heard a response. It didn't decode it, but I heard a response. Yeah, it's also possible that there's no actual BBS here. Um, or it might be robust packet. So yeah, we are in dig mode. We are sending. Yeah, see that time. Okay, so that time it actually did respond. It just responded much slower. I suspect I need to adjust the timings. Let me try that again. Connect. Okay, that time it actually... I heard a packet come in, but I don't think anything actually came in. Oh wait, it says it's connected. Let me send a question mark. Disconnected from session. Okay. I don't know. Let me see if I can find the page for this node. Station inbox, mailbox. Okay, so hold on. So it actually is an AmperNet node. It's on LoRa. It's even on Packer. So it basically supports the everything. So packet radio, 146 dial 2000. Okay. So this has got stuff for upper sideband. It's connected to a whole bunch of other forwarding radio partners that it presumably can hear kind of regularly. And this is actually a really impressive setup. It's on here. I'll actually put it up on the other screen. So this is the System Packer Packet MBO, multi-mode, multi-port digital system gateway between HFS, offers BBS, WinLink, DX cluster, and real-time chat. So this is definitely the node that I'm trying to connect to, and it's available. Like you have LoRa here. We're trying to connect here on. Okay, so hold on. Let's go to its node page and let's see if that's actually up. Okay, so the node page is an IP address that, just kind of times out. It's a member of, so let's look at the nodes here because it actually does list like a lot of them. Yeah, so it's actually connected to the European Hamnet system. So presumably I could actually route IP packets for the damn thing. I'm not exactly sure what it's connected to or what I'd be able to reach doing that. Let me see what else I can find here. So packet radio, BBS call sign, net 105, LSB. So it says the BBS, there is a BBS on this node, and it says it's on 8. That time it connected. Oh, hold on. Please enter your name. Chad, I actually have a connection. Yeah, that time I actually got a connection stream back. I think this is a settings problem because that time we got the login prompt for the BBS. So the question is, I'm not sure what's actually going wrong here. Yeah, so it sends RR. So we did connect to their BBS system. It then fell apart, which makes me think that there's a problem with the way we have the BBQ settings set up. Let's switch the acknowledge time. Yeah, like I hold on. Yeah, see, it's now trying to actually contact me. So let me see if I can figure out BBQD. Or no, BBQ 32. Like, let me figure out. Because what I suspect is happening is we're basically clobbering each other, and the packets are colliding in midair. And we're making a bit of QRM by doing that. So here's an actual example of how this person has it set up. So they have response time set to 1,000, frame acknowledge at 5,000, max frames of 7. Oh, no, that's actually not it. Let me see here. That's Packer. I'm literally just looking at an example file I found on the internet. So paclen of 200. 200. Retries. So persist of 64. Let's try that. Persist of 64. Int level, I don't even know what... Do I even have that one? I don't think I actually want that set. So max outstanding frames of that. Comport response time. I think a high response time is actually the way to go. So in terms of the other stuff here, we can do a TX delay of 5,000. I don't know if that'll make a difference. Like I said, I'm just kind of looking at this config and figuring out, you know, kind of just throwing stuff at the wall to figure out what may or may not actually work. Because it does definitely feel like a timing issue. Because, like I said, we did get a response that time. So, okay, we're back up and running. Ooh. I'm not hearing responses this time. I also just heard thunder. Don't tell me there's a thunderstorm warning. That might be my cue to shut down because thunderstorm. All right, so bump up the delay. The problem is I have no lightning protection on my setup, but my antenna, I have higher metal than my antenna setup. So I think for the moment, I'm just going to kind of go with it and hope my radio doesn't become the receiving end of a lightning strike. Okay, so hold on. TX delay is fine, so I'll put that on 300. Bump retries to 20. Slot time. Yeah, I'll shut down in a little bit. I want to make one or two more tries before I have to, shall we say, pull the plug. Yeah, I'm hoping the Hamfest in Athens doesn't get rained out. Oh, that time it got a reply. Yeah, so it was able to connect. Yeah, it's either Vara. It might be Vara fighting with on the frequencies. I kind of, like I said, it's definitely trying. Just waiting to see if anything else actually happens because, like I said, I didn't get the login message. It might have been lost though. So receive ready. Yeah, so it's sending RR commands to each other. RR command, RR response. I'm just going to boost the volume into Direwolf a little bit. Maybe that will help. Yeah, I mean, we saw it work once. All right, I'm hoping that, yeah, that sent a disconnect command. Let me try. See, I heard the packet that time, but it transmitted over it. I have to find some nets I can actually like work and do and stuff. I think let me go see if it's actually raining out. Yeah, it is. It's not raining yet, so I am legitimately thinking about what the problem could be. Like, it's quite possible this is just the very edge of my range. It could be a problem with the signal splashing. It could be a lot of things. It's kind of why I'm tempted to try Robust Packet and see if it's any better. It's on Saturday in Athens. It was in the SV News newsletter. And my Greek is I can say a few words in Greek, a few basic sentences. And I'm not going to be flexing any actual Greek there. See, I'm currently looking at yeah. So this is a map that I found. It's on the Network 105 page, and like you look over here in the section that is Europe, like there are nodes here, although not all of them have like frequencies. But they're when they're in this color, they're all in like these are all robust packet. I think yeah, station only operates APRS. Actually, this is the network, this node I'm trying to reach right here. So I'm approximately near, I'm actually very close to where, 13's there in Athens. So, I mean, the fact that I'm hearing it at all actually says something, although from what I can tell, the other station is like ridiculously OP. Let's see here. Like, is there any other ones here that conceivably, like, I'm pretty sure, let me see here, what was the legend? Yeah, mixed, unknown, and then robust. It's robust, it's not, yeah, robust packet. Takes less bandwidth, same bit, it's converted. So like I said, I just hate the fact that it is a proprietary mode. Yasu, Alex Ball. Yeah, I suspect that I probably lost the frequency. Like the fact that it's getting as far as Northern Europe actually is a little bit like a good thing. Like it does imply that my SAP can at least get packets out, but I wonder if there's any RDOP packets. RDOP packet radio. The thing is, I don't even know where I would actually find RDOP frames on in the radio. I just heard someone tuning up. Yeah, I think if I wanted to do RDOP, I would actually have to like set up WinLink and use it. Yeah, because the longer packets just aren't getting through. I literally just heard one go through, and it was not decoded successfully. Which is annoying. It's probably just below what WinLink can get. Yeah, I know Pat can do RDOP. It's just having issues. That sounds like robust packet I'm hearing right now. I should actually patch through the audio from the radio into the stream. Like, I don't think it's lost cause. I think, like, I definitely learned some things by trying with this little experiment. But it does imply either I'm going to have to, like, get a Packer modem or something, Packtor modem, or I think or something else relating to robust packet, and it's like that just sucks. Because like it's frustrating. It is just legitimately frustrating on like the fact that it's all just become proprietary. And it feels like it's so against the spirit of amateur radio, even if it isn't strictly speaking illegal. I am tempted to set this up as a full BBS, though. I think before I would do that, I would actually need to test sign in and logging on over VHF. I don't have my 2-meter antenna actually set up. It's currently lying on the floor. But I might do that later tonight. I could also do it with the HF antenna down. I really just have to get... I would realistically just have to get the Chromebook up and running. Oh, I hear another packet coming in. Oh, interesting how it set KISS protocol stuff. So I'm pretty sure if I were to put beacons out for BBQ32, I would like get actual like responses and such. Okay, I guess I'm back up for the moment. Yeah, I'm back up for the moment. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there.